Star Trek Picard Season 2 started so promisingly, but I've just watched episodes 7 and 8, and I'm not even going to bother getting the green screen out. It doesn't really deserve it. Welcome to Star Trek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So yeah, I've been away for the week and I'm full of cold. But I still watched Star Trek today. I watched Picard, episode 7 and 8, Monsters, and episode 8, and they are pretty bad. I've got some major problems with this series. The thing is, actually, the production value is very high. It's beautifully made. We have canon ships back. We have a few little nods to things like The Voyage Home, which I really enjoyed. The acting's good. The dialogue is actually pretty good. The writing isn't terrible, even though the story is pretty bad. But there are a few things that I just cannot forgive, and most of them happen in episode 7. It's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. So, right, two things. Captain Rios seems to have forgotten what the Prime Directive is, the most important law for any Federation crew member. And he's a captain, don't forget. The Temporal Prime Directive, same thing. Most important law they have. It's enshrined in what is the Federation. He just seems to don't give a crap. He's horny. He likes that girl. So he's just like, Prime Directive, I don't care. I'm just going to beam you guys aboard this ship. Now, I know this is building up towards him probably staying in the past, but why are they doing it this way? Why are they doing it in such an illogical way? And then Picard has his lie down, which I actually think a lot of this series is written in a way to allow Picard to sit or lie down. I think Patrick Stewart is very unwell. I don't think his mobility is great. And I actually think they've had to write scenes or entire episodes which allow him to sit as much as possible. And I'm not being mean about that. It genuinely is the only thing that makes sense to me. But through no logical sense, he figures out that Q is responsible for all this, and actually everything that's going on is maybe more about Q than he realised. So he goes back to Guinan, and Guinan spends what felt like 3 or 4 hours explaining to us that there's this magic genie bottle, and if she drinks from it and then starts talking what sounds like parcel tongue, and everything starts shaking and stuff, then she can summon a Q. Right, now she doesn't say the Q, John Delancey's Q specific, or, a specific Q, just summon a Q. It doesn't work. John Delancey is sick. He has to walk there, apparently. We find out in episode 8. So that's why it takes so long to get there. But why didn't another Q come? Again, there's no logical sense to this. It shouldn't have been, it's not like the nearest Q. It's not like all the other Q are going, John's got that. Why did they ignore this, forbidden summoning thing? Why did the rest of them just ignore it? And only John Delancey's there going, bloody hell, I'm going to have to walk there. I'm going to have to get the bus. It's just a joke. Another thing I hate about Picard Series 2 so far is that we've barely seen Q in it. He's the best thing in it. I always wondered, why did they never do a spin-off series of Q? John Delancey is one of the greatest Star Trek actors ever. His character is fantastic. I'd love to see what they should do is a series of him solving crimes in Los Angeles. That'd be great. Being sarcastic, don't do that. I wouldn't put anything past this series actually. Alex Kurtzman, please don't listen to that idea. It's not a genuine idea. But they could have done a Q series. I think it would have been pretty cool. But John Delancey's been woefully underused in this series. We're getting a lot of Brent Spiner, which I love, even though that storyline is so far completely irrelevant, but seems to be building towards something. We have several other storylines that are completely irrelevant, like the entire thing about meeting his dad, completely irrelevant to the actual story. We learn a little bit more about Picard, I suppose, but not really. But John Delancey should be in this series far more than he is. The whole thing about him dying and I don't know, it's not as much fun as I thought it would be. why did they do that in this episode in like 2 minutes? That could have been a really, really cool build up to that, and they just didn't bother. They hinted it a little bit, I suppose, in the first couple of episodes, but then they just sort of went, no, like I'm done. Great scene, actually. By far the most interesting thing in the entire series. But they put it in like 2 seconds at the end. It's just frustrating. There's lots of things about the series that are actually really, really good, though. The parts seem to be good. The production value, really high, beautifully made. The acting, really good. Even though a lot of the characters are quite forgettable, the dialogue is good, even though the story is illogical. The story, on the whole, is brilliant. I love the ball coming back from the first series, in the first episode, sorry. All of that, really, really interesting. But together, they just don't work. How often do we hear something is greater than the sum of its parts? Picard Series 2 is the opposite. It's less than the sum of its parts. They've got all these great ingredients to bake an amazing cake, and they've made a massive pile of poop. And I don't really know how it's happened. But, guys, you get into the comments. You tell me what you think, because this is just a quick video for me. I actually generally don't think it's worth me even getting my tripod out to do a proper video, and I'm definitely not getting the screen out to do it. I'm so disappointed by Picard Series 2 now. I might be saying goodbye to Star Trek, and that for me is just insane, because I'm a Trekkie. I'm a complete Trekkie. I am this close to giving up on Star Trek. But guys, get in the comments, tell me what you think. How you enjoying Picard Series 2? Do you think they can pull it out of the bag at the end? That we're going to get a finale that actually makes this worthwhile? I think we're not going to get a finale Series 2. I think it's just going to bleed into Series 3, but let's find out. Do you think John Delancey should be used more than he is being? Personally, I think that's a no-brainer. And, are we going to get a lot more scenes where basically it's just there to allow Picard to sit down for a bit? If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Don't have too many hate comments. This is just my opinion. If you like the show, then brilliant. I'm really happy. And yes, I know I keep shaking a little bit, but I'm not well. So, yeah. Also, if you would like to become a fully fledged Star Trekker, you can hit the join button. As always, guys, please stay safe. I'll see you next time.